Well, a very good afternoon to you, and you are welcome to Tuam Stadium. We're here at the home of Galway football for the second of the AIB Connacht Club Senior Football Championship semi-finals. It's the meeting of the Galway champions Moycullen and the Roscommon champions Strokestown on a wintry day here in Tuam. As you can see, bright sunshine. It's a little chilly, and thankfully the rain has subsided, although it has fallen quite heavily here in North Galway over the last 24 hours or so, and there's a stiff breeze as well that is sure to have a big bearing on how the game plays out. Now, before we get underway and hear from our co-commentator Eddie Hoare, let's take a check on the teams, beginning with Moycullen, the Galway champions, who again consistently have made a handful of changes to the match programme, but the bottom line is just the one change from the team that started against Westport in last Sunday's very impressive quarter-final win. Number 6, David Wynne, well, he misses out due to suspension, picked up a red card in the closing seconds of that win over Westport, hasn't been cleared to play, and his place instead in defence is taken by number 7, Aidan Claffey. So just to run through the starting team then. You may need a pen and paper to keep up, but number 16, Andrew Power, comes into goal and starts. He's the regular number 1. The full back line, as it's going to line out, this is what we're expecting to see. It's number 17, Conor Corcoran, number 4, Neil Mulcahy, and number 2, Cian Dean. That will be the Moycullen full back line. The half back line, number 7, Aidan Claffey, number 5, Owen Kelly, and number 28, Michael Maughan, who also started that win last weekend. In the middle of the field, it'll be number 9, Tom Clark, alongside number 12, Paul Kelly. The half forward line will feature number 19, Ger Davran, number 25, Michael O'Reilly, and number 3, Sean Kelly. He, of course, the Galway captain. And inside then, in the Moycullen full forward line, it's number 14, Niall Welsh, number 15, Desi Keneally, and number 24, Owen Gallagher. That's the way the Moycullen manager, Don Kennellan, is setting his team out this afternoon. Turning then to Strokestown, the Roscommon champions. They're back at provincial club championship level for the first time in 20 years, and a big day for them. It's Niall Curley who starts in goal. It's a full back line of Timmy Gibbons, Sean Mullooly and David Neary. A half back line of Keith Murphy, Colm Neary and Kieran Regan. David Butler will partner Cathal Compton in the middle of the field. Number 17, Cathal Brogan. He's in to replace number 10, Kevin Finn. That's the only change from the programme. Paddy Brogan wears 11 and Cathal Lavin is at 12. And the full forward line for Strokestown, it's 13, Shane McGinley, 14, Colin Compton, and 15, Diarmuid McGann. That's the way Strokestown, the Roscommon County champions, line out. So Eddie Hoare is alongside me. Eddie, we've got the best seats in the house. We're practically on the pitch here, overlooking the field at Tuam Stadium. Let's talk maybe first about the conditions, because it's the first thing that strikes you when you walk in through the gates, that stiff breeze. It's going to be a big factor. It will be a big factor. The big breeze going into the town end here in Tuam, so it'll be interesting to see who plays with the elements in the first half. It'll have a big bearing for Strokestown coming in, probably as underdogs. I'd expect that they'd look to try and play with the breeze, try and build up a lead, but it will be certainly an interesting dynamic and one to look out for in the early stages. So let's talk maybe initially about Moycullen. They're road tested. Since that nail-biting county final win over Salthill Knocknacarrow, we saw them in action last weekend against Westport. They were so impressive. In fact, so impressive, not alone raging hot favourites to win today, but raging hot favourites to go on and lift the Shane McGettigan Cup. Are you seeing any weaknesses, any areas maybe that Strokestown could go after today? Yeah, Moycullen in the county final probably didn't perform. They'll acknowledge that themselves, but did come out with the win. Went in there as strong favourites too. But last weekend they were outstanding, really improved against Westport. Look, from Strokestown's perspective, like we said, they're coming in as underdogs, but they'll be looking at confining and try to nullify the centre space where the likes of Sean Kelly, the likes of Peter Cook and these guys, Paul Kelly, tried to drive through. So they'll be trying to nullify that in the opposition in Moycullen and try and confine it if possible. So before the action gets underway, we're going to pause for a moment's silence. Well, as you may have gathered, there's a very, very big crowd here in Tuam. Strokestown would seem to have brought a big support with them, Eddie, but Moycullen, they've obviously played here quite a bit. They're familiar with the stadium. Will it count for anything once the game starts, or are we all starting from a clean slate?
Yeah, home advantage is definitely an element here. It's a benefit for Moycullen, having played here a few times. They'd be probably more familiar with Pearse Stadium themselves, but even coming in here beforehand, you could see the strong crowd coming in from Strokestown. They obviously haven't won a county final in a number of years, and there's a great buzz and a great excitement amongst their supporters. And notwithstanding that, Moycullen too, having won a county title 2 years ago, hadn't the privilege with COVID to be able to go on a Connacht journey, and I'm sure their supporters are enjoying that. I think Moycullen are going to be playing with the elements here in the first half.
Well, we just were watching during the Moycullen warm-up. Number 14, Niall Welsh, seemed to pick up a knock and just needed a little bit of attention. Just looking around the field now to see if he's actually fit enough to start or not. In fact, it looks like he's not, Eddie. I see 13, Daniel Cox, over there in the corner. So that would suggest that Niall Welsh has picked up an injury. He's not going to start, and that is a setback. It
is a setback. He was very impressive last week in Castlebar. But again, Daniel Cox coming in, he got Moycullen's first goal. He's a good young player who's played good lot of experience at county level and minor and under 20 grade. So again, while it is a loss for Moycullen, it's a good lad to bring in too.
So away we go then. The second of the AIB Connacht Club football semi-finals is off and running. Our referee, by the way, is John Gilmartin from Sligo. Turlestran of Sligo, well, they're already safely through to the provincial final in a couple of weeks' time. Beat St Mary's of Leitrim in a war of attrition is probably the best way to put it, in the semi-final yesterday up in Carrick. What sort of a game will we get today? If Strokestown are to have any chance, Eddie, of upsetting the odds and taking out Moycullen, what kind of a game will they need to make it? What will they be trying to do from a tactical perspective?
I'd say they'll need to be patient. They'll need to keep, like we said, the middle channel quite tight, curtail the Moycullen runners, and again inside Dessie Keneally is quite prolific. They'll need to confine the long ball going into him and make sure that he isn't left one-on-one with his man inside. But again, a good start and a patient build-up is probably what they're looking for here.
Paddy Brogan goes long with this delivery, looking for the corner forward Shane McGinley, and he was caught as he tried to go down and get that ball under control, and it'll be a free in. Good direct approach by Paddy Brogan. Just felt the pass was on, and McGinley came flying out from the corner, and I can see a couple of Strokestown lads waving down towards their goalkeeper. That's Niall Curley, and I think Niall may have seen the hand signals too late, and he's been ushered back towards his goal again, and instead it will be Diarmuid McGann. Hit 4 points from frees in the county final win over Boyle. That ended a 20-year wait for a county title, and Diarmuid McGann with a good confident kick to ease Strokestown out in front, and that will settle the nerves nicely. It certainly will, yeah. Good start for Strokestown, and another free in now after the kick out. Well, not quite sure if it's nerves or not, but a breakdown, a malfunction there on the Moycullen kick out. Andrew Power looking to get a quick one away. Ball touched on the floor, and Diarmuid McGann has just been handed a very straightforward chance to double the Strokestown lead. We're 2 minutes in. He's kicking into the wind, but Strokestown, who have really very little to lose and everything to gain, have just gone 2 points in front. Well, this will settle the Roscommon champions nicely. Their manager, John Rogers, this is exactly the sort of start he was looking for, Eddie. Really good start for Strokestown. Moycullen losing their first kick out, so that's two good frees. It'll settle Diarmuid McGann into the game, and two nice frees, and Moycullen's kick out under a little bit of pressure again here. Yeah, Strokestown push right up on Andrew Power. He goes long, and that's a great take by Cathal Compton. I'm sure many of you will recognise the name. He's an established county senior player. Shane McGinley is again the intended target inside, feeds Colin Compton, and Colin Compton, the big full forward, shoots. That hit a Moycullen hand, and that's a 45. This is a very impressive start from Strokestown, considering it's 20 years since they were at this stage of the Connacht series, but nerves not an issue. Don't seem to be an issue. Yeah, they settled in very, very well. Moycullen had a game last weekend, had their county final the weekend before as well, so have had more action since Strokestown have had that bit of time to
to prepare. But yeah, a really good start for them. No real nerves for a team that won their first county title in 30 years, and a good chance here from a 45 to go 3 ahead.
Well, the most famous man in Strokestown, Tony Lavin, is among the subs again today. He's the man that kicked the winning point in the county final a few weeks ago, and I'm sure has not put his hand in his pocket since, as Shane McGinley steps up to this 45. He's got a fairly short run up. He struck that really, really well. Oh, what a kick. What a terrific kick from Shane McGinley. Well, it's 3 points to Strokestown. Moycullen haven't scored. We've played 4 minutes and they have not put a foot wrong.
Really good start for Strokestown. The large crowd here behind us in the stand. Really well received that score, and Shane McGinley from the deck into a stiff enough breeze. Really good score, and a perfect start for Strokestown.
Well, Moycullen have hardly crossed into Strokestown territory in the first 4.5 minutes. They'll be looking now to put that right. I see Strokestown have dropped their sweeper, David Neary, in front of Desi Keneally. He's the danger man. 10 points, 5 from frees. He racked up against Westport last weekend. Now Sean Kelly on the ball for Moycullen, looking to try and make something happen. He's got Sean Mullooly, the Roscommon County player, after him. Mullooly just had a tug on the jersey, and Sean Kelly will get the free, which he'll take himself, and pop it back to Tom Clark, man who started his football career down in North Mayo with Knockmore, now very much established in the Moycullen first 15. Moycullen forced to go backwards in an attempt to come forwards, and the ball ends up in the hands of Paul Kelly, one of the 3 brothers. There's a decoy run made by Owen Gallagher. Kelly instead plays a 1-2, takes the return pass, but he's outside his range, outside his comfort zone, and that bounced harmlessly into the arms of Niall Curley. Eddie, it's not something you see a lot from Moycullen, forcing shots like that, but it just shows maybe a little rattled.
Normally more measured in their build-up and more patient, yeah, but the start from Strokestown has definitely put pressure on Moycullen, and you could see from the build-up there, Sean Kelly to Paul Kelly, it was forced, and unlike Moycullen.
Now, Sean Mullooly, an outstanding Roscommon defender during the Kevin McStay era, then took some time out as the ball is bombed in by Kieran Regan. There's a race on between Shane McGinley and Andrew Power, and across to cover and sweep across came Cian Dean, the Moycullen right corner back. The Moycullen crowd like that now. Dean just sallying up the field to try and lift the pressure. Tom Clark off the ball. Cathal Compton is holding back Sean Kelly. Referee has spotted it. That's why the Moycullen crowd were getting a little animated. Here's Desi Keneally. He's outnumbered 3-1. Needs support, gets it, and the ball recycled all the way back as far as Owen Gallagher, the former Antrim County senior, now very much settled in Galway. Moycullen now are trying to stretch Strokestown. They did this so effectively against Westport. Cian Dean comes bombing forward. Dean shoots, and again Moycullen leave empty-handed. It was a really nice move, but Dean was just that yard or 2 outside his range, and that's 2 now that have dropped short.
2 dropped short, yeah, and Cian Dean coming forward probably should have tried to find one of the shooters or one of the forwards in a better position along the D. But again, good start for Strokestown, and Moycullen definitely forcing it, but the work rate of Strokestown is very evident, very much up for it and in tune with the pace of this Connacht semi-final.
Well, one of the most unusual features of Strokestown's path to a first county title in 20 years was the fact they didn't actually win a group game in Roscommon, but 1 draw was enough to get them out of the group, despite the fact they'd lost twice, and they never looked back. And as a man was pointing out to me, Eddie, a little earlier, they were also fortunate, I suppose, that they ended up on the right side of the draw in Roscommon. They avoided some of the big hitters like Pearce's and Bridget's, but them's the breaks.
They did avoid the big hitters, but to be fair, they took the chances when they came and were full value for the win against a much, again, fancied Boyle side. So very well used to coming in as underdogs, and no different here today, and again responding quite well to that tag.
Well, they're certainly playing in the first 7 or 8 minutes here like a team with no pressure on their shoulders. Everybody's talked up Moycullen. They're actually on most people's shortlist to have a crack off in All-Ireland, but here we are in the Connacht semi-final, and the Galway champions are on the back foot. They're scrambling a little, and they've just given away another free. Well, it's quite remarkable, Eddie. It's wave after wave after wave of Strokestown pressure.
It is, yeah. They're very much in tune with the pace of this game, very up for it, look fit, look determined, and look very up for it. This again is after the 45 that Shane McGinley kicked previously. It's very much within his range here, and he'd be hoping to kick this one.
I see Don Kennellan, the Moycullen manager, down here in front of us, poker faced as always. He's a Rossi, of course. He'll know the Strokestown lads and set up inside out, but so far his team powerless to prevent the Roscommon champions setting the early pace as Shane McGinley steps up to this 45. He only takes 4 or 5 steps, but he has got a sledgehammer of a right boot. That's a terrific kick from Shane McGinley. And Eddie, I'm not quite sure if people at home can appreciate, he's just literally stroking those 50s over.
Stroking them over, yeah. Again, a really, really good strike. And that's four shots for Strokestown, 4 scores, no wides, 1 dropped and 2 drop shorts for Moycullen on the other end. And they're starting to break away from Moycullen now and winning the kickouts, winning primary possession, and things going their way.
Just looking at the flags over on the far side, that wind hasn't changed. It's diagonal, but it is in Moycullen's favour in the first half, going by the flags over on top of the scoreboard here in Tuam. But Moycullen just cannot get their hands on the ball, and they just cannot get any sort of a supply into Desi Keneally, who right now is the only Moycullen player inside the Strokestown half. Everybody else is making their way back into a defensive position. But this is the dream scenario for Strokestown. They have Moycullen right where they want them as Diarmuid McGann pops it off to the runner. The shot is fired in. It bounces awkwardly. That was David Butler that hit it. He's an accomplished rugby player. He's togged out for Galwegians and Old Belvedere during his rugby career. And I have to say, he togs out a big man. Owen Gallagher forced to head across the field. Nothing obvious on, and he looked to throw that, and he did throw that. And Strokestown win another free from another turnover.
They do, yeah. And again, it was a throw, passed it with one hand, and again, very much within the range of Shane McGinley, having slotted over a 45 and a free from a similar position a few minutes ago. But
free taken by McGinley. Spots the run inside of Cathal Lavin. There's so much movement, so many options. He goes back to McGinley initially. Ball then worked to Kieran Regan, who's up from left half back. Strokestown confidently moving the ball around, dragging the Moycullen defence out of position, out of their comfort zones. McGinley again involved. He's been very, very lively in the first quarter here. And they'll go all the way back to Colm Neary at 6, who'll switch it across to Mullooly on the far side. Mullooly punts it forward. Popping up over there is Cathal Lavin. It kind of feels, Eddie, at the minute like Moycullen are having done to them what they did to Westport a week ago.
It is, yeah. They're all the possession. They're very comfortable in possession, winning their primary ball, and full value for the 4-point lead early on.
Well, Strokestown enjoying a sustained period of possession here, and they're in no major panic to give it away. David Neary. Oh, beautiful ball into McGinley. It just didn't stick. It just bounced up a little awkwardly. And now a chance for Moycullen to play on the break, and that's a sliding tackle by Big David Butler on Daniel Cox, I think it was, who was trying to go by him. And John Gilmartin wants a word. Well, what colour will the card be? It's a yellow or it's a black, Eddie? It's a fairly straightforward one.
I think it might be. I think it might be a yellow. It just was a little bit late. Didn't seem to check him, but yellow, I'd expect.
So if John Gilmartin...
Oh, it's black. He's gone with black.
I was about to say, if John Gilmartin sees that as a deliberate body check, well then David Butler's in trouble. In fact, I see him pointing to his foot. He's given it for a trip, a deliberate trip by David Butler on Daniel Cox. And that now means Strokestown down to 14 men for the next 10 minutes. We're in the 13th minute of the first half. They do have a 4-point lead, but they'll have to batten down the hatches now, Eddie.
They will, yeah. It's a big 10 minutes now for Strokestown, but equally a big 10 minutes for Moycullen to try and settle and take advantage of the extra man in their side.
Well, Moycullen, of course, without Peter Cook, without Niall Welch, who hobbled out of the warm-up and therefore was pulled from the first 15. They're just struggling to settle into any sort of a rhythm, into any sort of a pattern. Sean Kelly, he's really being tightly marked as well. He's not been able to influence the game so far, but we're still in the early stages, and Moycullen showing last weekend when they put up 318 against Westport that they can do a lot of damage if they get a run on a team. Here's Owen Gallagher, wrong foots the Strokestown defender, tries to go by Colm Neary. Gallagher with a big booming effort, and that flies up and over the bar. Moycullen's account is finally open. It's taken them 14 minutes, and it's come from the boot of Owen Gallagher.
Big score for Owen Gallagher. Again, likes to take his man on, took advantage, brought him one-on-one and into the town goal. A really good score, and much needed for Moycullen.
Well, Strokestown haven't managed to score from open play yet, but they do lead by 3. Now, there's a Strokestown player gone down injured here. It's the full-back, Sean Mullooly. You may have picked up on the microphones. I think the Moycullen lads are assuming it's a time-wasting measure, and if it was, you wouldn't be overly surprised, Eddie.
I wouldn't know. Definitely not with the black card in play here at the moment. They'll try and tick the clock along as much as possible and keep possession here and keep patient and try to nullify Moycullen's way back into this game.
Sean Mullooly has made a full recovery by the looks of things, and away we go again. It's Timmy Gibbons, the right corner back. He's got open road in front of him. Moycullen have backed off a little just to allow the engagement to take place a little further up the field. Now they move in and try to swarm Kieran Regan. Regan's under pressure, and Regan has been penalised. He hung on too long, and that was much more like it from Moycullen. They got 3 or 4 players in around the ball carrier, swallowed him up, and Sean Kelly will take it forward initially. Owen Gallagher again. He's trying his best to get something going. The Moycullen 24, Clark, and right over on this left touchline, hugging it, is the big number 19. That's Ger Daverin. Now, latest man to try his luck is Aidan Claffey. Thought about crossing the 45, then decides to play a 1-2 with Michael O'Reilly, man who scored the 3rd Moycullen goal against Westport. Desi Keneally makes a run towards the ball. Instead, Daverin decides to use Owen Gallagher. He's the primary line breaker down the middle. Now Sean Kelly drops the right shoulder, gives it back to Gallagher, but that's a wild and wide effort from the Moycullen 24. You could see what they were thinking, you could see what they were trying to do, but interesting to note, Eddie, in the build-up, Desi Keneally, the top scorer, used almost as a decoy runner, and it just shows, I suppose, the kind of heat he's feeling. Yeah,
you can see he's been very tightly marked, probably double marked at times, but to be fair to Desi, he's using that to his advantage and trying to open up space. Good build up there from Sean Kelly, a little bit more patient. Owen Gallagher a little bit more unfortunate. With the shot, it just didn't wrap around the right post. But it'll be interesting, 4 points to 1, whether Moycullen, now Peter Cook was unavailable last weekend through illness, but he is tagged. How long will it take for Don Kennellan to maybe use Peter, because they certainly haven't won too much primary possession in the first few minutes.
This time Strokestown go long. Moycullen break the ball back towards the Strokestown goal, but nothing doing on the breaks front this time either. Cathal Brogan it is who reacted quickest. Moycullen's ability to win breaks, as Eddie said, to win possession of any sort around the middle, it's been a problem as we tick into the second quarter. We're in the 18th minute here at Tuam Stadium. In case you've just joined us, you're watching the AIB Connacht Club football semi-final. Turlestrane of Sligo already through to the provincial final in a few weeks' time. Who will join them? The outsiders from Strokestown or the raging hot favourites from Moycullen? Well, Sean Mullooly has just got tied up in a knot there, and he's been penalised. I think John Gilmartin felt he touched the ball on the ground, and credit where it's due, it was Sean Kelly who was chasing him down. Yeah, Sean Kelly excellent there, doing what he does best, just chasing down the man, forcing the turnover and forcing the mistake. So free here for Moycullen. Tight angle for Desi Keneally, but one that's well within his range. Well, he put on an exhibition of point kicking and free taking down in Castlebar last Sunday. He had 8 points on the board by half time. He finished with 10 and also spent 10 minutes in the sin bin, so it was quite the eventful day. But 10 points in 50 odd minutes of football is fair going. He was absolutely on fire. This to kick his first of the day, and Desi Keneally is up and running, and 4-2 now. That's 2 in a row for Moycullen, and I see Don Kennellan just resting a little easier.
Yeah, they'll be a lot happier how they've settled. Obviously the black card has been a big factor there. David Butler in midfield going off, so Moycullen will be happy the last 5 minutes since David Butler has exited the field and have halved the deficit.
So 2 in it. It looks like Niall Curley's going to mix it up a bit. Manages to find Cathal Brogan, but it was a risky one, and Brogan's been fouled, and Strokestown will get the free. But for once there, Niall Curley decided to go a little shorter than usual, and all's well that ends well. Here he is again, soloing out the field with a strong sun shining down into his eyes. Hits the 45, then maybe gets a little lightheaded, moves the ball on to Colm Neary, and now Strokestown will come forward in a wave again. Trying to go down on this ball is Cathal Compton. He is surrounded by 3 Moycullen players, held on too long. And it was a feature of the county final, Eddie, and the Westport game. If you bring the ball into the tackle against the Moycullen lads, you're under pressure.
Yeah, you are. They're very physical, very strong, and have a good game plan, and generally nullify attacks who try to pursue them at pace down the middle. So again, that will give them a lot of confidence. The few turnovers in the last few plays.
This is a much slicker looking move. Ball is popped from the wing back Owen Kelly back to Keneally, shoots on sight, and that flies across the face of the goal and wide. It was an incisive run forward, though, 2 or 3 players moving in a little pod, and the final shot was actually from the boot of Daniel Cox that flew wide of the target. But if nothing else, they're getting into more of a rhythm.
They are, yeah. Their game plan is appearing to work a little bit better, that little bit of patience. But again, Daniel Cox probably will be disappointed with that effort, because it was well within his range. But Moycullen definitely have settled into the game. But notwithstanding that, Strokestown still 2 points clear and full value for that lead.
Well, if somebody had offered Strokestown this position before the start, they'd have taken it, that's for sure. A lot of people fearing for their well-being, as it were, coming into this game, given that Moycullen put up 3-18 against Westport, were looking like the real deal. But 20 minutes in, the Galway champions are still left with a little bit of catching up to do. But again, they turn the ball over, and it's starting to become more and more a feature of this game. Strokestown men bringing ball into the tackle and leaving without it. Tom Clark back to Owen Gallagher. Clark continues the run, makes himself available. Now Keneally sniping out on the edge of the play, being chased by his shadow, that's Timmy Gibbons. Moycullen go back and then spread it wide to the right. Owen Kelly plays a 1-2. Michael O'Reilly looking for the return pass. Instead, it's shoveled back the field as far as Conor Corcoran, and all the way across to Owen Gallagher again. Strokestown trying to get their defence into position. Owen Gallagher steps inside, backs himself. The umpires are not 100% sure, but they're going to give it. Owen Gallagher with his 2nd point. It was oh so close, and if we'd had Hawkeye, Eddie, all bets were off, I think.
Yeah, it was very, very close. Not sure, but look, to be fair, the umpires seemed to have the best view of it. Both of them consulted, and they were happy to award the point. Big score for Owen Gallagher, but good patient build up again for Moycullen. Desi Keneally could have forced it initially. They worked it around, worked it back, and a good score.
Yeah, that was a big score in every sense, and that's a big catch in the centre of the field as well from Ger Daverin. 3 points in a row from Moycullen. They have an extra man, remember, with David Butler in the sin bin. He should be back in, though, in about 60 seconds. Sean Kelly knifes his way through. Cox, oh, lovely soft hands to Clark. Kelly again. Was he fouled? Not so. Well, Sean Kelly is tangled up quite literally there with Keith Murphy. Murphy has come off the worst of it as the ball breaks out the field and is picked up by Owen Gallagher, who, Eddie, in the first 20 minutes has been absolutely phenomenal.
He certainly has. He's been everywhere, turning ball over, carrying ball, and 2 really, really important scores to add to that too.
Well, John Gilmartin here has stepped in to call a halt to the play because he's worried about a possible head injury for Keith Murphy, who got tangled up with Sean Kelly. They were trying to separate one another from the tackle, and Murphy just seemed to fall heavily, and in fairness to John Gilmartin, he didn't want to take any changes. Moycullen are absolutely raging because they had the ball and were on the attack.
They were on the attack and had a good turnover got, but to be fair, look, if it is a head injury, it's probably the most sensible thing. I think, like you said, he got tangled up with Sean Kelly. There was nothing malicious in it. I think it was just in the way in which he landed. But again, Moycullen are in possession, so they will be able to take an indirect free kick from where the game stopped.
Just to take stock, Eddie, for a second, 15 minutes ago, Strokestown were 4 points to no score in front and were cruising. Fast forward 15 minutes, and it's now 4-3, and Moycullen starting to look a lot more like themselves.
They are, yeah. It took them a while to settle. The black card had a big bearing on that, and they took full advantage of it. But look a lot slicker in the last 10 minutes, and the scoreboard would reflect that. But still, Strokestown still ahead, and there is a big breeze into the town goal, so it's worth more than a point or two. So Moycullen will want to end this first half better than they've started it.
Well, David Butler is back in for Strokestown. That was some barnstorming run down the field from Moycullen, and it has just led to a free in. I think that was Ger Daverin again, who has got through some amount of hard work in this first half. In fact, was it Neil Mulcahy? But once Moycullen get their runners, it was in fact Niall Mulcahy, the number 4, who just got on that ball. He saw a gap and he drove right through until he was taken down on the 20-metre line. It presents the shooting chance for Desi Keneally, and for the very first time in the match, the teams are level. Moycullen have hit 4 points in a row to wipe out the Strokestown lead, and we're up on 16 minutes and counting since the Roscommon champions last scored.
Yeah, good response from Moycullen. Again, Desi Keneally with the free, but like you said, Niall Mulcahy coming down the centre of the attack from defence, and he's done that right throughout the Galway Football Championship this year, and well known for it. But good score and a good response from Moycullen, level game.
Well, Don Kennellan has so many big men to call on around the middle. Mulcahy, Davern, Clark, and of course Peter Cook and Mark Lydon there to draft in off the bench. But all of them outfielded there by Paddy Brogan, who wins the free for Strokestown and releases Shane McGinley in the corner. He's faced by Cian Dean. McGinley taps it over his head, goes to ground, free in. Well, McGinley is a real handful.
He certainly is, yeah. They left him very exposed with Cian Dean inside 1v1, and when he won the ball, he took on his man, and maybe of the softer variety, but still it is a free and a very scoreable one. It should be restore Strokestown's lead.
Well, I had a quick look this morning, and Moycullen fancy to win this game by at least 7 points. Not quite sure if that will still stand after 26 minutes, because the Galway champions are in a right dogfight here. And this is a chance for Diarmuid McGann to kick Strokestown back in front. He was never ever going to miss, and despite the fact they haven't scored from play yet, Eddie, they're back ahead.
Yeah, I had noticed that. Yeah, 4 frees and 145. They are back ahead, and they responded to Moycullen's response to level things up and have gone ahead. An important 5 minutes in the context of the game, not just for Moycullen but for Strokestown too. But Moycullen will look to have to finish this half strong, given the big breeze that's there. They're a point behind, haven't played particularly well, and will need to finish the last 5 minutes stronger.
Just for the record, that was Strokestown's first score for 18 minutes. As Moycullen give possession away cheaply. That was a sloppy hand pass. Sean Kelly, though, cute as a fox, had tracked back to cut off the pass. He just read it so well there. Ball drawn to him like a magnet, and now Moycullen will try and play on the break. Man driving forward is Owen Kelly. Owen Gallagher again. He's the man who's calling the shots in the first half for the Galway champions. Can't go by Colm Neary, though, who stands him up. Moycullen will have to reset and go again. Niall Mulcahy, that distinctive stature of the number 4, but don't let the numbers fool you. As we mentioned earlier, it's just a box-ticking exercise really for Moycullen to send in a squad. They play where they're needed, they play where they can do the most damage, and Owen Gallagher is doing some damage from the wing. He's kicked 3 points from play, 3 absolute skyscrapers, and we're level again. He's
been outstanding, Owen Gallagher. Again, a patient build-up, found the right man who's on form, and another really good score into the town end. For all that Shane McGinley and Diarmuid McGann are doing on one side for Strokestown, Owen Gallagher is doing the same for, and if not better, for Moycullen.
Well, it's been a really, really enjoyable first half so far. We've played 28 minutes, sides are level for the second time, and all this despite Strokestown racing into a 4-point lead after less than 10 minutes. Paddy Brogan pops up on the right wing. He's got Owen Kelly for company. This is Cathal Compton, so much expected of the big Strokestown number 9. He and his brother Colin, two of the big names in the Strokestown team. Now Paddy Brogan thought about heading into the corner, then decided against it. That's a really good tackle by Sean Kelly, showing all his quality and class.
That's what's so good about Sean Kelly. He can do so much to influence a game and does the ugly things so well, and a really big turnover for Moycullen, and they go on the attack again with Paul Kelly.
Well, the Kelly brothers, three of the main conductors of the orchestra, Owen, Sean and Paul. Now Michael O'Reilly, he could pop up pretty much anywhere, and that's the Moycullen work ethic. When they attack in numbers. When they are out of possession, they defend on block. Flying up the field goes Conor Corcoran. That was quite spectacular from the dynamic corner back, and he's just won himself a free in the most unorthodox of fashions.
Very unusual style, yeah, but it's notwithstanding that, very, very effective. Real good pace. Michael O'Reilly found him over on the right wing. I think he fisted it over his man's head, let it bounce, and was fouled in the process for another easy free on the corner of the D for Desi Keneally.
I was just thinking, Eddie, that was almost like something you'd see in a Cumann and Munsqual match.
It was. You wouldn't normally see that in Tuam Stadium, to be fair, but look, it was effective, and fair. Conor Corcoran had the speed and the intelligence to execute it.
Well, he had serious pace to beat the defender, and Desi Keneally's free means that Moycullen lead for the very first time in the 30th minute of the first half. We're going to have at least 2 minutes of additional time, but you can almost hear the sigh of relief behind us, Eddie, from the Moycullen supporters.
You can, yes. It has taken them a while to get going, and to be fair, I'd say Strokestown have probably been the better team over the course of the half an hour, but look, Moycullen with the breeze will be very happy with how they finished. 3 frees for Desi and 3 points from play from Owen Gallagher.
And they have possession again, crucially. Aidan Claffey, first avenue of attack was blocked off, as flying through the air there came Keith Murphy, obviously fully recovered again. Free goes against Strokestown though. I think we can say with certainty after 31 minutes, nobody is holding back today. It is all or nothing for Moycullen and Strokestown. For the winners, it's a golden ticket to the Connacht final in a couple of weeks' time. The losers, well, their season is over, and they will have to content themselves with the title of county champions, provincial semi-finalists. Still though, the outcome hanging in the balance as Gallagher picks out Ger Davern. That was quite the pass from Owen Gallagher again, who really looks like he means business. Desi Keneally cuts in, angles tight, shot half deflected, bounces up to Niall Curley, and the Strokestown keeper, I think, happy to see a chink of light there as he burst out from the goal and clears the danger. Colm Neary, he's a real all-action centre half back, drives up the right wing, then just jammed on the brakes, and Strokestown will try a different avenue of attack over on the left-hand side with Cathal Compton. Man making the run forward off his shoulder is Paddy Brogan. Now Cathal Lavin. This looks like it's going to be another period of holding possession for Strokestown. We're into the 3rd minute of additional time, so I'd imagine this play will be the last of the first half. Strokestown looking to draw level, Moycullen looking to keep their lead. Well, referee John Gilmartin calls for the ball. Strokestown won't get time to complete that move. Just over 2 minutes of additional time played, and listen to the reaction of the supporters. Well, there's a big crowd in Tuam, and Eddie, I'd imagine most of them would have to have enjoyed that.
Yeah, they would. Really full-hearted encounter between two county champions, and that's what's great about the Connacht Championship. You're representing all of your county, and Roscommon are being represented here, and so are Galway, and the fans are here, and there's a great energy, and they appreciate the standard and the effort that the players are putting in here today, and it's reflective of the noise that was sounded by the supporters while both teams came off the pitch. But a really exciting opening half, and Moycullen, while playing with a breeze, will be probably happy to be the 1 point clear.
Yeah, I was going to ask you that just before we wrap up for half time. If you're in the Strokestown dressing room and you're John Rogers, their manager, how are you feeling about the first half, given that your team came flying out of the blocks, led by 4, you go in 1 down with the win behind you for the second half?
Yeah, it's a interesting dynamic how he'll approach it. They'll be very happy with how they started. The black card, he'll be disappointed. It was probably in the softer variety, but look, John Gilmartin gave it. If he saw it as a foot trip or as a trip, technically it is a black card, and Moycullen, to be fair, responded well. But look, there is a very big breeze there into the town end, and it's probably worth more than a point. But Moycullen, with how they started, even though they're only 1 point clear at half time, will probably be happy given the fact that they probably hadn't played their best football all year there in that first half.
How much of the half-time situation would you put down to the way Strokestown are preventing Moycullen from doing their thing, or perhaps the Galway champions just not firing on all cylinders themselves?
To give credit to Strokestown, I think they have their homework done, and they've nullified a lot of the Moycullen key players. You see there inside, Desi Keneally has been well shepherded by Timmy Gibbons, and that's a man-marking job that's been done very, very effectively. Also, Sean Kelly hasn't been allowed influence the game, has been tagged quite tightly, and that's credit to Strokestown. They've their homework done. They're coming in here as underdogs, and they're very much have an appetite to work hard and do the basics right. That said, Moycullen have responded to that. They had a big win last weekend, a quick turnaround for them, and have responded to Strokestown's early onslaught and responded quite well. But Don Kennellan, I think, of both managers, will want more from his Moycullen side, because he knows the potential that's there. We saw it in Castlebar last weekend, and he'll need that to come out in the second half, because Strokestown, if they get enough quality ball inside to Shane McGinley, Jim McGann, with the breeze into the town end here in Tuam, they'll do damage.
Yeah, that was going to be my final point to you. If I was looking for reasons to be worried from a Strokestown perspective, they haven't scored from play yet. They have put 5 points on the board, but if they can't get a few scores from open play, you would fear from them, considering the sort of quality Moycullen can bring in off the bench in the second half.
Yeah, Moycullen have serious quality on the bench. You see the likes of Peter Cook, Mark Lydon would have played, wore the maroon jersey as well at senior level, and that's with the likes of David Wynne, who's suspended, and others. So they do. Conor Bowen is there too, so they do have a lot on the bench. Strokestown will need to bring more from play. All their scores, like we said, have come from place balls, 4 frees and 145. Moycullen, on the other hand, 6 points, 3 from frees, 3 from play. So a better spread amongst their scorers. But if Strokestown do get the chance, they do seem to be able to execute, but they just need to get their shots off. But Moycullen have been quite tenacious and quite aggressive in the tackle, and haven't allowed them that opportunity from open play thus far.
Well, certainly anybody who's come to Tuam today has got their money's worth so far. The same goes for anybody watching in on our coverage this afternoon. It has been a really enjoyable first half, and right now still impossible to call a winner. At half time here at Tuam Stadium in the AIB Connacht Club Senior Football Championship semi-final, it's beautifully poised. Moycullen leading Strokestown by 6 points to 5. We'll be back shortly with second half commentary. From Freeze in the county final win over Boyle. That ended a 20-year wait for a county title, and Diarmuid McGann. Really very little to lose and everything to gain. Have just gone 2 points in front. Well, this and you're very welcome back to Tuam Stadium.
Don't hit me now.
Back out ahead of the start of the second half. Just waiting on Strokestown to reappear, and as you can imagine, there is great excitement here in the stand all around us. We're sitting right in the belly of the stand at Tuam Stadium. Huge crowd here from Moycullen, big crowd in from Strokestown as well, and Eddie Hoare alongside me. Eddie, the place absolutely buzzing at half time because everybody is bracing themselves for a huge second half.
They are, yeah, very exciting first half. Took both teams, I'd say, while it would definitely Moycullen a little bit longer to get going, but a very, very exciting, full-hearted game, and it's all you can ask for in a Connacht championship. Strokestown a little bit longer in the dressing room, and I'd expect will come out to a massive roar from their supporters who've travelled in big numbers, but it has all the makings of a really, really exciting second half here.
Well, the Strokestown crowd have waited so long for a day like today. Actually played in the 2002 Connacht Club final, beaten by Crossmolina by 4 points. At the time, Crossmolina would have been the reigning All-Ireland club champions, and 20 years later, Strokestown back on the Connacht stage again, just leaving Moycullen waiting out there a few minutes. The game may get more sophisticated, Eddie. There may be more strength and conditioning, more performance coaching, but some things never change, and if you can leave the other team out in the field for a few minutes at the start of the second half, it seems to go down well.
Yeah, sometimes the smaller, old-fashioned little tricks can work quite well, and they have left Moycullen out that little bit longer. It's a cold day here in Tuam, and they've been waiting there for 2 or 3 minutes, but they are out now to a big reception from their supporters as expected, and a big 5 minutes in the context of this game. Moycullen being favourites, will they kick on and extend their 1 point lead, or will Strokestown continue to start this second half like they started the first?
Well, as Eddie mentioned, it's a cold day here in Tuam. The lads selling tea and coffee are doing a roaring trade over beside the dressing rooms. But everybody out now in position, good to go ahead of the start of the second half. It's the AIB Connacht Club Senior Football Semi-Final, and that's Ger Daverin winning possession for Moycullen just to set them on the front foot. The Galway champions looking to reach their very first Connacht Club Senior Final as Owen Gallagher goes down towards the Strokestown goal. He's got support from Paul Kelly, and Paul Kelly had an arm around his shoulder, hits the deck, and this will present Desi Keneally, I'd imagine, with a chance to extend the Moycullen lead. But they may have been left out there twiddling their thumbs for a couple of minutes, Eddie, but doesn't seem to have done them any harm. Good
start for Moycullen, yes. Primary possession from the throw-in, won by Garage Daverin, and he's a really big man and has great potential, and has had a very effective first half, very effective championship for Moycullen throughout the 2022, and a good chance here for Desi now to extend Moycullen's lead. Well, up steps the man of the moment, the man who lifted the Frank Fox Cup last month as Galway Club Championship winners, and that's a very unlikely and uncharacteristic miss. It is, yeah. I'd expect Desi to have kicked that, having kicked 3 in the first half. That's his second wide. He'll be disappointed with that, because with a player of his potential, he'd have expected to raise the white flag. Hasn't scored from open play yet, Desi Keneally. By this stage, a week ago, he had 8 points on the board against Westport, so that will show you just what kind of a marking job that Strokestown have done on him so far. That was really well done there by Tom Clark, one of the most underrated players in the Moycullen team. He is the ideal foil to the likes of Owen Kelly and Paul Kelly out around the middle of the field. He does so much of the heavy lifting as Moycullen try to construct an attack down along that left-hand side. Sean Kelly, captain Galway into last season's All-Ireland final against Kerry. Ball now in the hands of his brother Paul. Wears 12 but plays in the centre of the field alongside Clark. Now Daverin. Coming in off the wing is Michael O'Reilly. This is better from Moycullen. It's Daverin again. He's a big, strong man. Sucks in a few defenders. Back to Daniel Cox with the cheeky snapshot. Just angle was too tight. Didn't get a good connection. And Niall Curley gets it away from danger. But that's 2 chances for Moycullen at the start of the second half. None taken. It is 2 chances. They'll be disappointed. That's the third they've dropped short in the game, and it's nothing worse. It sets up an attack for the opposition, and Moycullen would have hoped to have extended their lead with them 2 attacks, but they haven't, and Strokestown now are on the attack on the other side.
Moycullen have dropped in Owen Gallagher to sweep. That's just to cut out the long ball into the full forward line, so Strokestown were forced to carry the ball into the tackle, and Kieran Regan has it stripped from his grasp again, and Owen Gallagher comes driving out of defence with it for Moycullen. Now Daniel Cox again, such a lively corner forward, scored the first of the 3 goals against Westport. Davern trying to bring it in. Well, Moycullen have created plenty of chances at the start of this second half, but unable to hit the target.
Again, a disappointing shot, probably forced, and you would have hoped that it would have worked its way around to one of the more clinical forwards like Desi Keneally inside, but it wasn't, and it's a third miss for Moycullen in the second half, 2 wides and a short. I see Peter Cook as well is stripped off and ready to go, so again an influential player for Moycullen that we expected to be introduced early in the second half.
Referee John Gilmartin has his arm outstretched to signal a free to Moycullen. Ball is played back as far as Conor Corcoran made a couple of dashing runs up the field in the first half. Over on this near side, it's Aidan Claffey. That's a good purposeful run. He's got support from Kelly. Owen Gallagher just drifts by. This is Paul Kelly, who smashes through the tackles. He's being chased now by the cornerback David Neary. Moycullen recycle the ball back to Owen Gallagher again. Well, after all of that huffing and puffing from Moycullen, that passage of play ends with a line ball for Strokestown, who at this stage, Eddie, there's no doubt they have their sleeves rolled up and they feel this is there for the taking now.
They do, yeah. They're very much in this game. They've created that type of a battle that I think will suit Strokestown, and they're winning them ugly turnovers, and again are very, very much in this game, and I'm sure that's what their management team of John Rogers would have been hoping, to stay in this game for as long as possible and ask questions, and they have done.
Sean Mullooly just sitting and waiting on his own 45-metre line. Diagonal ball cut out by Ger Davern. Links with Conor Corcoran. And Conor Corcoran has options left and right. Decides to move it inside to Davern again. We're now entering the 6th minute of the second half. An unforced error there by Conor Corcoran to give the ball back to Strokestown again. And there's no doubt the Galway champions not playing with the same sort of cohesion or fluidity that we've seen from them in recent weeks. They have been knocked out of their stride by Strokestown. Here's Diarmuid McGann looking to get his team's first score from play, but that was an ambitious effort to say the least. It was easy for Andrew Power, and now it gives Moycullen a chance to build from the back again. Well, they've been very evenly matched. They're cancelling each other out for the most part. And the longer it goes on, Eddie, it just strikes you as one of those games, if either team could get a goal, it would just open everything up.
A goal will be a massive score in this game, and like you said, Mike, whoever gets the first will have a big chance of winning it. It's 6 points to 5. Not much scores happening here in Tuam, and like you said, a goal will be a massive score.
Sean Kelly cuts through, fires it in, but he was hit hard just as he pulled the trigger, and that was enough to put him off, and that flies wide, and that's the cue for Don Kennellan to bring in Peter Cook. The towering number 21 is going to replace Daniel Cox, and you can hear in the background how much it's lifted the crowd, never mind the team.
Yeah, Peter Cook is a top class player, has had an outstanding year for Moycullen, and Pádraig Joyce will be looking to hopefully avail of his services in 2023, but a big 20 minutes for Peter Cook. He needs to influence this game because it's very much in the melting pot.
Interestingly, Don Kennellan sent him initially at least into the edge of the square, Peter Cook, as Strokestown win the break. That was Cathal Compton. Paddy Brogan is fouled. Strokestown get the free. Ball drilled down the line. Racing out onto it comes the number 14, Colin Compton. He's a real class act. Compton makes an angle, shoots, just got caught on the breeze, and it flies across the face of goal and wide. Well, the scores have dried up completely in the first 8 minutes of the second half. Can Peter Cook be the game changer? Now, he did trot in initially to the edge of the square. Right now he's about 55-60 metres from the Strokestown goal, sitting in around centre forward. Kick out comes from Power, possession won by Paddy Brogan. It has been some midfield battle, Eddie, so far.
It has, yeah, a lot of big men out there in the middle, and both teams, to be fair, very, very competitive under both teams' kickouts and their own too. Peter Cook in there, I think, like you said, operating around 11. I'd expect that he'll have to retreat a little bit deeper to try and influence that middle third, because it is an area where Strokestown have been doing quite well.
Strokestown man who's down injured is Paddy Brogan, their industrious number 11. He has been one of their best players so far. He's a playmaker, he's a ball winner, and if he gets the chance, he can put scores on the board. Now, what will John Gilmartin do here? It looks like he's shaping up to throw it up between a Moycullen man and a Strokestown man, just looking for two willing and able participants. It'll be Jerdavern and Cathal Compton who'll go toe to toe. Everybody else jostling for position. Ball knocked away from both of them, gathered by Peter Cook. Cook is a very big man, and Peter Cook has won himself a free. And because Strokestown didn't retreat quickly enough, the ball will be brought forward. Now Paddy Brogan has pulled, well, has he pulled back Peter Cook, or has he pulled down Peter Cook, Eddie? Because it's an important distinction. If he pulled him down, it's a black card.
If he pulled him down, it's a black card. Looked like he pulled him back. The linesman appears to be in, given his take on it. To me, it was a pull of the togs. He didn't necessarily drag him down, but it'll be interesting to see the interpretation that John Gilmartin and the linesman have of it.
Well, it all, as Eddie said, it all hinges on the interpretation of the linesman. If it was seen as a pull back, it's a yellow, and it is a yellow. And Moycullen are absolutely furious with that.
They'll be disappointed with it, but look, in my view, it probably was the correct decision. There was a black card awarded in the first half to Strokestown, which was again a borderline one. So again, of the two, one was given, one wasn't. So I think it's fair over the context.
Well, one way or another, Paddy Brogan was not going to let Peter Cook away there, and certainly tested out the shorts, which stood up to the test. And away we go again. We're now in the 11th minute of the second half here at Tuam Stadium. Haven't had a score yet since half time, so that means the Galway champions lead by 1. Tom Clark just pirouettes and then fires it back to Cook, and that's a poor effort from Peter Cook. He just shot on sight. That's well wide, and that Moycullen wide count is climbing, Eddie, and the missed chances too, and they're all starting to mount up.
They are, yeah. That's 6 wides, I think, for Moycullen and 3 drop short. So again, a lot of missed opportunities from them, and that was well within Peter Cook's range, so he'd be disappointed that it didn't curl in around the post.
Well, that's a dicey one from Niall Curley. He put David Neary under all sorts of pressure. Desi Keneally was in trying to put the pressure on. Looks to have picked up an injury in the process of trying to close down the corner back. We'll just keep an eye on that. I see James O'Toole, aka Toolers, was in quickly there to check on him. As down the field goes Colm Neary. Strokestown have turned defence into attack very quickly here, and now they're inside Moycullen territory. Mullooly to Compton, and Compton goes all the way back to David Neary, the left corner back again. Loose man is Colm Neary. Nobody picking him up. He just drifted up from centre back there, hidden in plain sight almost, the Strokestown number 6, as the Roscommon champions hold possession, bide their time, wait for the opening to come, and just as I say it, out comes Colin Compton. He overran the pass, which was too high anyway, and Moycullen have won possession back again. Sean Kelly it is who comes dashing out of the Moycullen half of the field. Support outside. Here's Paul Kelly up to join the attack again. Desi Keneally buzzing around that left corner. Owen Gallagher cuts through, has the power to break the first tackle but not the second, and Sean Mullooly, the Roscommon and Strokestown defender, wins the ball and wins the free. this has turned into an almighty arm wrestle.
It has, yeah, really, really competitive battle. Lots of mistakes on both sides, lots of turnovers. It's winter football, and it's a real winter football affair here. We spoke about potentially a goal being an important score, but the way it's looking, I think the next score is going to be very vital. If Strokestown can get it, they'll level. If Moycullen can get it, they'll go 2 points clear. And it's a real, like you said, a real arm wrestle between two really good sides.
So Strokestown making a change. Number 10, Kevin Finn, has arrived on the scene. Just looking around to see who's being taken out. He was named in the match programme initially to start, but didn't. Play is stopped at the moment because Sean Mullooly is receiving attention down in front of the Strokestown goal. In fact, it's Colm Neary who was down the centre back. And just confirmation of the change, it's Kevin Finn for Cathal Lavin in the Strokestown forward line. But who will be the game changer? Who will be the game breaker here in Tuam Stadium? Moycullen 1 point in front. Strokestown chasing hard without having scored from play yet. And I get the impression, having scanned the match report of yesterday's semi-final between Turlestrane and St Mary's of Leitrim, Eddie, that we're in for something similar now down the home stretch. Low scoring, extremely tight, and nobody too sure what was going to happen right till the very end.
Yeah, I think that finished 8-6, and St Mary's didn't score in the second half, so very, very similar to this contest, like you had mentioned. And again, like in a contest like that that's tight, every point is going to be vital. And Strokestown now in possession again, but the next 5 to 10 minutes will have a big bearing on this. Moycullen have made their power play with Peter Cook has come on. They'll be looking for others on the bench to come in, the likes of Mark Lydon, maybe Conor Bohan and others. So it'll be interesting to see how the next 5 to 10 minutes play out.
Scramble for possession right in front of Don Kennellan. Keith Murphy under pressure from Aidan Claffey, and the pressure cracks the Strokestown man. Moycullen get the free. Cook will go back to Owen Kelly, who'll give it to Cook again. And Moycullen will head into the centre and look for some space to get their line breakers and their strong runners onto possession and into the Strokestown half. Nice little necklace of hand passes there. Davern involved again. Paul Kelly flicks it to Corcoran. But Strokestown's defence is so well drilled, well organised, very, very difficult to break down.
Difficult to break down, very resolute, and have a good game plan and execute it quite well. Have nullified some of Moycullen's big threats up front, like Desi Keneally from play and others, and have been patient and stuck with the game plan, and it is working, to be fair.
I notice one of their backroom team is the well-known coach Mark Dowd. He would have had a big hand in their defensive setup as Peter Cook flashes that shot high and wide. And for the first time, Eddie, I see some emotion on the face of Don Kennellan as he looks into the sky, puffs out his cheeks, and you can see he's beginning to get a little worried.
He is, you can see it there. He's brought Peter Cook in. It hasn't made a massive difference, albeit he has made some good turnovers, but there's still no scores in this second half. So we're talking about points, we're talking about goals, but turnovers and big plays like that seem to be the power plays here in this second half. No scores. It's quite unusual for such a high standard of Connacht Championship.
16 minutes and counting. No score from either side, and it is who will blink first now. That's the sort of territory we're heading into as Colin Compton tries to come in along that end line. Support from Shane McGinley. Little toe tap to buy himself some time. Slips through the gap, doesn't hit the target. I think he'd done the hard part, just couldn't get enough backlift on the shot. Easy for power. And we talk about Moycullen leaving scores behind. Strokestown have just left one there in a big way.
They have, Mike, they have, and that's 2 short in the second half and 1 wide. So in a game of such tight margins, they're scores they'd want to be getting.
Big turnover. Possession won by Strokestown. This is the wing back, Kieran Regan, and that is a flying block from who else but Sean Kelly. Well, he wears 3. He lines out nominally at left half forward, but Kelly is everywhere for Moycullen, and that time he was in the right place to dive on the boot of Kieran Regan, who was endeavouring to kick the equaliser. Now Strokestown back in possession again. Moycullen lose the ball on the way forward. Well, for one reason or another, they have not been at their best, the Galway champions. But can Strokestown make them pay? But let's go back to that block from Kelly, Eddie, for a moment. Inspirational.
Sean Kelly, inspirational, Galway senior football captain, and while he can be nullified in ways in terms of how there's so much at his disposal in terms of he's so fit, he can tackle, he can harass, he can block players down, he can score. He just really has it all, Sean Kelly, and another really big play from him there in the last play.
He was involved there a moment ago again, trying to get Moycullen moving in the right direction from their point of view. But Strokestown are chasing and hassling and harrying and pressurising Moycullen to such a degree, Eddie, that at times you can visibly see the Moycullen lads not quite sure where to go next.
Yeah, their structure is very, very organised, very arranged, and they're quite patient in terms of what they have to do. They're very well instructed, and it's no coincidence that it is only 6 points that a free-flowing Moycullen have scored in this game.
Well, that is simply superb from Sean Kelly, because there was nothing on anywhere else. They had tried their luck down the right, down the left. They had come back and recycled a couple of times, and Sean Kelly said, I'm going to take this on. He drove through. He's been taken down. They had no option but to bring him down, and he's won his team a free in. And that is why Sean Kelly is the player he is.
Yeah, a game of fine margins, and again, who else but Sean Kelly steps up, breaks the line, forces the free, and very easy. Well, you'd expect that Desi Keneally should score this right on the top of the D. But again, Sean Kelly so inspirational in what he does, not just for his county but his club here today. And again, the heartbeat of that Moycullen attack.
Well, assuming Desi Keneally kicks this free, and if this game has taught us anything, or this second half has taught us anything, we can assume very little when we're talking about this particular contest. And I'm glad I said what I said there, because 9 times out of 10, 99 times out of 100, Eddie, Desi Keneally converts that free. That's quite a spectacular miss.
Yeah, you'd have really fancied Desi to score that one. Went to the left and wide, and that's 8 wides for Moycullen. They'll be really, really frustrated. And again, 20 minutes nearly in and no score in the second half. It's going to go right down to the wire, Mike.
Because the point I was going to make, Eddie, was assuming Desi kicked that free to put Moycullen 2 up, I was going to nominate that run from Sean Kelly as probably the moment that changed the match. But now we're back to square one again.
Yeah, and we would have said equally in the play, a few plays previous, the big block down that he done. But again, back to a 1-point ball game all again, and would have expected Desi to get that.
Well, all sorts of words right now are running through my mind. It's an absorbing game. It's absolutely intriguing as we wait for somebody to take the initiative and to go and win this thing, because it is there for the taking. And whoever doesn't win it, Desi or Eddie, at this stage, they're going to have huge regrets.
They will, because it's there for both sides now. It's very much in the melting pot. So who's going to grasp it? Who's going to stand up and win this game? Both teams were involved in very tight county finals, so they'll have gone down the wire before, so it'll be interesting to see, does Lavin come on again and maybe have a big influence like he did in the county final?
That was really, really good corner back play from Conor Corcoran, who just got up above McGann to knock the ball away. Moycullen break its pace at high speed. Keneally clattered into by a Strokestown man. Moycullen want a free. There's no free coming. Now there are 2 Moycullen players down. Desi Keneally is one of them, who was just tackled a moment ago. The other is Tom Clark, who was injured in the last passage of play. Now the linesman has come in to speak to John Gilmartin. Not quite sure if he saw what happened to Tom Clark or not. John Gilmartin has obviously decided, Eddie, that the tackle on Keneally was fair and square. The Moycullen supporters behind us and the substitutes, they saw it a different way.
Yeah, it looked like a wholehearted challenge there with Desi Keneally and his man. Desi was looking for the ball. I think the Strokestown man came out with it. Could have gone either way. James O'Toole is in, giving him some treatment at the moment. But
well, just in relation to the other incident, it looks like Colin Compton, the Strokestown number 14, is in trouble here. It's a yellow for Compton. Well, I was waiting to see would it be a black, because Tom Clark was down, and the linesman obviously saw something. Now there's a change coming from Strokestown. John Rogers is going to draft in Mikey Kavanagh. He's taking out David Butler. David Butler is not happy. Now, nobody's happy when they're taken out, but David Butler particularly incensed.
Yeah, he doesn't look happy there to look in a tight game. Every player wants to be on the pitch for the last 10 minutes, and he's obviously an influential player to Strokestown. But look, fresh legs is important too, so Mikey Kavanagh could have a big say in the last 10 minutes for Strokestown also.
Thought just struck me there as well. David Butler might be needed later because, just to remind you, if this finishes level after normal time, we will have extra time, and if it's still level, we'll have a penalty shootout. And right now, I don't know about you, Eddie, but I wouldn't be making too many plans for this afternoon.
Yeah, it's very looks to be. It will go down to the wire, and potentially penalties could be required to separate both sides. Definitely won't be much in it either way. 23
minutes have been played in the second half. 23 minutes without a single solitary score. It was 6-5 to Moycullen at half time. It's still 6-5 to Moycullen as the Galway champions try to negotiate their way into their very first Connacht Senior Club final. This is only their second ever game at this level of the championship, as Owen Gallagher, who was so outstanding in the first half, kicked 3 brilliant points, misses by a country mile, and it's spreading through the team now like a virus.
It is, it's infectious, yeah. Wide after wide, that's 9 wides for Moycullen to Strokestown's 1, and that'll show you the dominance of Moycullen in terms of attacking, but they haven't executed, and the scoreline reflects that.
Another very heavy collision in the centre of the field. Mikey Kavanagh has come off the worst there. He went in bald-headed with a Moycullen man for the kick out, and he's just going to need a moment or two to gather himself. This means another stoppage, and it's been a feature of the second half really. Despite the team's best efforts to get into some sort of a rhythm, inevitably there's an injury, there's a stoppage, there's a referee consulting with a linesman, and it's all added up to a very broken second half.
It has, and hasn't allowed the game to any momentum to gather in the game. These small breaks, and again the wides, the turnovers, the errors on both sides has made it a very stop-start game. But notwithstanding that, it's still very, very much in the melting pot. It's exciting, and whoever comes out, the victors here today, won't mind how they win it.
Just thinking, Eddie, as I watch James O'Toole come off the field again, the Moycullen physio. What happens if the physio needs a physio? Because he's been busy.
He certainly has, yeah. James O'Toole, he's been busy today. He's around for so many years. I was involved with him in the college myself for years. He was involved with Mayo and everything, but yeah, he has been busy. Covered a lot of the blades of grass here in Tuam today.
May have to put out a call for a physio for the physio, the way things are going, but things have kicked off again. Moycullen in possession. Cook gives it to Kelly, back to Cook. That was a strong arm tackle from Mullooly. Now Mullooly is adamant that he went in to play the ball, but he's just given John Gilmartin a piece of his mind, and that was not a smart move because the referee has brought the ball in. Now Cathal Compton has just kicked the loose ball away as well, but I think if John Gilmartin brings it in any further, it'll be in on the goal line. But first of all, Eddie, should it have been a free in, and obviously Mullooly has made Desi Keneally's job a bit easier now.
Yeah, I think to be fair, probably was a free to Peter Cook. He was dragged while he tried to break the tackle, but a little bit might regret that Strokestown, because it wasn't an easy free, the initial place, and now it's dead straight in front of the goal. It's a tap over free. So again, no scores in the second half. This will be the first for Moycullen, and it'll put them 2 clear, and it'll be a big score in the context of the overall result, I'd expect.
Well, we're in the 27th minute, and the sound you're about to hear is the sound of pure, genuine relief from the Moycullen supporters if this goes over. It's not the hardest free he's ever kicked, but it's one of the most important. It means Moycullen lead by 2 with 4 minutes to go.
Moycullen up by 2, yes, a really, really important free, won by Peter Cook, who has been introduced, and while he did have a few wides, he's been very influential since he's come in. But big point for Desi and a big point for Moycullen.
Now, can Strokestown come up with a couple of scores to force this to extra time, or maybe even a goal to win it? Didn't score a goal in the county final win over Boyle. 11 points was enough to win that game, as Sean Kelly, the one and only, goes back to fill in at wing back to win the ball, to win a free. And he's not moving too freely, Sean Kelly. He's definitely picked up at least one heavy knock, possibly more. But here he is again, demanding the ball. But the pass has been overcooked by Conor Corcoran, and he's given it away. It's in the hands of Keith Finn, and that drops short. And Finn will wonder why he didn't just take another few yards there and put himself in a better position, because they've had to work so hard to create those scoring chances. And when they don't take them, you can just feel it suck a little bit of air out of the tyres.
Yeah, just haven't had enough in the final third here in the second half, and those drop shots do suck the energy out of the side. And in a game that's so tight, them scores have to go over.
Well, Moycullen are making life very hard for themselves. They've just given the ball away again. They've conceded another free. And I'm not quite sure if it comes across, but certainly when you're here in Tuam, the insatiable appetite for hard work of these Strokestown lads is off the chart. Nothing is a lost cause. Everything is hunted down, and inevitably they get a lot of joy.
They do, yes, and that it's effective. To be fair, they've given everything for their parish today and are still very much in it. A really big kick here, and we've seen, I think it might be Diarmuid McGann, I'm not sure, or Shane McGinley. He has scored a few in the first half, so I'd expect that he definitely has the range, whether the legs are tired or not. But it's a big kick for Strokestown.
So we're in the 59th minute. Shane McGinley simply has to score. He's right on the 45. Breeze behind him, just wide, inches wide of that left-hand post, and they are the fine margins. They are the fine margins. 5 wides for Strokestown. Well, if that goes over, Eddie, all bets are off again.
Yeah, again, a really important free. And to be fair, Shane McGinley, it just dragged wide. He was quite unlucky. He got good contact on it, but it was a really important one. And Strokestown have won the kick out again and on the attack.
We're into the final minute of normal time. Strokestown simply have to score. It's McGann, and it's over. Diarmuid McGann has just kicked Strokestown's first score from play in the 59th minute, and it means if they score again, we're surely heading for extra time.
Big score for Diarmuid McGann. Again, their first score from play in the whole game for Strokestown. No more important time to get it. 1 point in it, and a massive kick out coming up here for Andrew Power.
And we're going to have at least 4 minutes of additional time. And in a game like this, that's an eternity.
It's an eternity, yeah, and it's going to be a massive 4 minutes for both clubs.
A scramble near the sideline, everybody claiming the line ball. Strokestown wants it, Moycullen wants it. It goes the way of the Galway champions, and I wouldn't swap with that linesman for all the money in the world. A
lot of pressure on him there, yeah, because both teams, to be fair, right in front of the Strokestown mentors, but both teams vying for that possession on that line ball, but it's Moycullen who won it.
Ball played into the centre to Owen Kelly. This is where the strength and conditioning and the fitness will tell. Moycullen, this is their second game in a week, remember. Didn't have to overexert themselves against Westport, but it's still their second game in a week. Strokestown, the fresher team coming in. That's a foul, and it could be a very costly one. Strokestown have given away a free. It was Niall Mulcahy for the umpteenth time breaking up from defence. Somebody put a hand on his shoulder and pulled him down. Free in, and this just might be enough to get Moycullen home.
Yeah, Niall Mulcahy again, to be fair, has been excellent coming up, foraying up the pitch. Has done it right throughout the Galway Championship, and we saw it too against Westport. And a big kick for Desi Keneally that I'd expect as well within his range, and I'd expect him to score.
Well, I think Desi would be the first to admit he's having such a mixed day off the freeze that normally you'd be writing this one down before he kicked it, but you just couldn't be sure. There's a breeze blowing across the field into his face. He's about 35 metres as the crow flies from the Strokestown goal. This surely to send Moycullen into the Connacht final. Desi Keneally has missed. Well, Desi Keneally is adamant that he scored. So now we have a problem because the umpire has flagged it wide. Desi Keneally is adamant that he scored, and I see the linesman maybe trying to get John Gilmartin's attention. That, though, could be in relation to a change. Well, the score is going to be flagged wide, or the kick, rather, is going to be flagged wide. So Desi Keneally's pleas have fallen on deaf ears. So it remains 7-6, and Moycullen have left Strokestown in this, Eddie.
They have, yeah. Big kick there for Desi, and I'd expected him to score well within his range, but into a stiff breeze, nothing is a given today. But Fionn McDonough on again for Moycullen. He's a really good talent, good young guy coming up through the ranks, plays hurling I think as well, and a big few minutes for him and to try and have some influence on the last few minutes of the game.
So Fionn McDonough for Gerard Davern. Looks like it will be Don Kennellan's last roll of the dice as he tries to guide Moycullen into their very first Connacht Senior Club final. We're into the 3rd minute of stoppage time, about 90 seconds to go, more or less. Then it's up to John Gilmartin. Can Strokestown engineer an equaliser and send this to extra time? They've only scored once in the second half. They've only scored once from play, but the Roscommon champions are still in this in a big way. Ball played by Cathal Brogan over to the far side of the field. Kevin Finn cuts in off the wing to Mullooly. They're trying to get their shooters into position. Moycullen have brought everybody back behind the ball. This is Cathal Compton. It's hit the top of the bar and it's over. Would you believe it? Cathal Compton has come up with an equaliser in the 34th minute that will surely send this to extra time.
Surely send it to extra time, Mike, but what a score from Cathal Compton, the county man within the ranks of Strokestown. That score, if it does mean extra time, will be remembered in Strokestown for years. What a kick over on the right hand side into the town end, off the crossbar and over the bar. They've won the kick out now and may have a chance to even go on and win the game.
15 seconds to go. Can Strokestown, as Eddie said, go and win it now? Cathal Compton, he's like Roy of the Rovers. He's caught the kick out, he's delivered the pass. John Gilmartin looks at the watch. Moycullen trying to scramble the ball clear. Next score wins. It's like the schoolyard back in the old days. Surely the next score, if we have one more, will decide this.
It will, yes. I'd say John Gilmartin looks like he's going to blow it. I'm not sure, but again, long ball in, and Sean Kelly out in front of the square, the man to intercept it. But Moycullen will potentially have a chance here.
Well, this is why they call the club championship the toughest. It is a battle of wills. It's a test of physical and psychological at every level, and it is Moycullen and Strokestown that have served up quite the game here. It won't go down as a classic, but it will go down as one of those unforgettable championship matches that we get at this time of year. Nobody prepared to blink. Nobody prepared to take a step back. We're now 5 minutes into additional time. We're well over the 4 that were allotted. Can Moycullen, can they come up with a winner? Can somebody produce a moment of magic? It's Conor Corcoran to Fionn McDonough. Referee is playing an advantage. None coming. Free in. And it all comes down to this, Eddie.
It all comes down to this. Probably on the softer variety. I'm not sure what it was for. Was it a jersey tug or not? But a massive kick for either Desi Keneally or maybe it could be within Peter Cook's range. But level peg, and I'm surprised John Gilmartin played an extra minute. But a massive kick for Peter Cook. And to be fair to Peter, well within his range. I'd expect he has the skill to execute it, but a really pressure kick nonetheless.
This is quite incredible. Don Kennellan, the Moycullen manager, can barely watch. I see the photographers getting into position behind Peter Cook. He's put it on the floor. Strokestown supporters turn away. This to win the Connacht semi-final, and it's wide. John Gilmartin has blown the full-time whistle. Moycullen and Strokestown will get an extra 20 minutes to try and find a winner. Supporters all around us in the stand are on their feet. The Strokestown crowd, the Moycullen crowd applauding their teams who have given absolutely everything.
They've given everything, and while it's not the prettiest, it's nonetheless so exciting. Real Connacht championship stuff. They've given everything for the club. The beauty of the club championship, you're playing with your friends, you're playing with your families, and it has the hallmarks of a real competitive Connacht championship, and whoever wins this game will have earned it, because they've, like you said, given everything over that hour.
Psychologically, Eddie, right now, are Strokestown in a slightly better place because they've just seen Moycullen miss a chance to win the game. They're the ones that had to come back from the dead to get the equaliser. or am I reading too much into it? Are we right back to a blank canvas?
Normally the team that gets the equaliser, you'd say psychologically, is in a better place. I saw the Strokestown guys going in and they were back tapping Cathal Compton and the energy within their ranks there. But look, it's still a level game, and the way that first hour has gone, there's going to be very, very little, and it's going to be who blinks first, who makes less errors, I'd expect, more so than who's going to grasp it, really, because it is that wintry wet conditions here in Tuam, albeit it is dry, it's wet and greasy, and what an opportunity for both sides. So 20 minutes of probably the biggest 20 minutes of a lot of their careers, in club-wise at least. I'm
looking at my notes here from the second half, Eddie, and they look like they would if you were covering a junior soccer match. 3 points in the second half. A free from Desi Keneally in the 26th minute. A point from Jeremy McGann from play in the 29th, Strokestown's first of the game. And then in the 34th minute, Cathal Compton, who's played so much football at a high level, minor All-Ireland winner, Roscommon County senior, comes up with the score of his life to level it.
Yeah, what a character building score, and he stood up, the county man, and often at times there's more pressure on the county player, but he stood up and gave it every last sinew within his body, clipped the crossbar and over, and just dropped over to a rousing Strokestown crowd. On the other hand, Moycullen, I think 11 wides over the course of the hour to Strokestown's 2, and that tells the tale. Moycullen will be so disappointed not to have put it away, but that's not to take away from Strokestown. They're really battle hardened, they've worked really, really hard, haven't allowed Moycullen the luxury to be able to take on unopposed shots, and that's the reflection of Strokestown and what they've brought to this game.
My congratulations to anybody who stuck a fiver on the draw at 15-2 this morning. I have to admit, I did give it a second glance, but I didn't jump in. Eddie, just to finish for the moment now, take us inside the dressing room in there. It must be like one of those scenes from MASH in terms of players are in bits. We saw Sean Kelly hobbling off. Some of the Strokestown lads nearly had to be helped off. It's been a very tough hour's football. It's going to take a lot out of the bodies. So what are we in for now in extra time? It's going to be yet another war of attrition, isn't it?
It will be a war of attrition, yeah. 20 big minutes coming up. Moycullen again have probably played last weekend against Westport, albeit won easily, played against Salt Hill a few weeks before, so I think Strokestown might be the fresher in that regard, and it could have a big bearing on it. But the second half, 2 points to 1, it was such a dogfight. The ugly stuff was done well, to be fair, in the turnovers. It was a backs game, but both dressing rooms just need to dust down, settle and relax, and try and stick to their game plan and not let emotions get in the way, because it's a big prize at stake, a big Connacht final in 2 weeks' time, and I think Don Kennellan and John Rogers on the Strokestown side will try and settle their teams down and execute what they want to do, because for large parts at the second half they either didn't or weren't allowed by the opposition.
Certainly the physios and the masseuses will be busy over the next few minutes as Moycullen and Strokestown get ready to go again. Likewise, we'll try and do the same over the next few minutes. We'll try and gather our thoughts and catch our breath. Don't go away. We'll have extra time coverage coming up shortly. But just to finish for now on the final score after normal time in the AIB Connacht Club Senior Football semi-final, it has finished in a draw. Moycullen 7 points, Strokestown 7 points. We'll talk to you again in just a few moments. welcome back to Tuam Stadium. You'll have seen in your pictures for the last couple of moments the teams are back out ahead of the start of extra time. I see the captains just handing John Gilmartin the paperwork as everybody gets ready to reset and go again. For those of you who have been with us from the start, hope you've gathered your thoughts during the break. And for those of you who have just decided to join us now, well, you're welcome. You have missed quite the game. You've missed quite the Connacht Club semi-final. Moycullen, the raging hot favourites to win, not just today's game, but to win the Connacht title and go on to have a crack at the All-Ireland. Well, they have been stunned, really, by the underdogs from Strokestown, stunned by their ferociousness and their insatiable appetite for hard work that has earned them a shot at extra time here, and we'll now have an extra 20 minutes, 10 minutes aside, to decide who goes through to play Strokestown of Sligo in the Connacht Club final in 2 weeks' time. Eddie Hoare is back alongside me for the start of extra time, and I'm guessing, Eddie, at this stage things like game plans, tactics, the finer points, shall we say, of Gaelic football, they fly out the window now. This will come down to who can grind it out.
I think so, yeah. Who wants it more, who makes less mistakes rather than actual tactics and that. And again, Garage Davern winning the throw-in like he did at the start of the second half, and Moycullen on the attack. So
we'll update you on any changes the teams may have made as the first period of extra time goes on. As you'll have gathered by now, Moycullen, well, they're playing from left to right. They're defending the town goal, playing into a breeze that's died a little since the early stages of the game, but still there. It'll still be of some benefit, you'd imagine, to Strokestown, who were looking to go to their first provincial final for 20 years. This is Michael O'Reilly. Temperature starting to drop here now in Tuam as the evening draws in. O'Reilly surrounded and fouled, and John Gilmartin gives the Moycullen number 25 the free. We mentioned a couple of guys earlier who were maybe underrated, Eddie. Michael O'Reilly definitely goes into that category, doesn't he?
He does. He came and broke on the scene in the Galway Club Championship this year, but very, very effective. I think coming from a rugby background, very direct in his running, and has had a really good championship. A very underrated player, very effective. Again, winning the free there for Moycullen.
Certainly moves like a rugby player, all right, as Peter Cook steps up to this, missed the free at the end of normal time that could have won it for Moycullen. Has he put that behind him? That's not a bad strike, but it's not going to carry. There's a collision in front of the goal that was caught well by the Strokestown man. In fact, it's number 8, David Butler. Now, he was taken off near the end of normal time and he wasn't one bit happy about it. And no surprise to see him back on.
Yeah, he's back on, and I'd expect a lot fresher now, having had 10-15 minutes on the bench before full time. But again, he'll want to have a big bear in this second half of this extra time.
Strokestown have given the ball away, and here come Moycullen at their swashbuckling best. It's Sean Kelly. I'm not quite sure how he's still going because he has ran himself into the ground. He was limping 10 or 15 minutes into the second half, but he looks like he's good to go again, Eddie.
He is, yeah. Always so action-packed is Sean Kelly's type and style of play, and he'll give every last sinew in his body, and no surprise he's out there full of energy again in extra time.
Here's another man full of energy, Conor Corcoran. Ball will run through as far as Paul Kelly, and Paul Kelly pops over the lead score for Moycullen. Well, that is probably, in some ways, the easiest score we've seen in the entire game, because one hand pass just opened everything up and Paul Kelly gets his first of the day.
Yes, one hand pass opens it up, and a good option by Paul Kelly, coming in at a tight angle on the right hand side, and uses the fist to put the ball over and put Moycullen one clear.
Strokestown have put themselves under pressure from their own kick out, and Timmy Gibbons penalised, touched on the ground. Quick free by Peter Cook. It's Sean Kelly, brilliant save. The follow-up is buried in the back of the net. Sean Kelly gets the goal. It was a terrific save initially from Niall Curley to deny Kelly a spectacular goal, but the Galway captain followed up and fired it soccer style, first time, left-footed into the back of the net. Moycullen make the breakthrough.
Oh, what a goal for Sean Kelly, but not just the goal, but how important a score it was. Peter Cook intercepted the kick out, forced the turnover, had the cuteness to take a short free to Sean Kelly, and on the rebound slots it home off the deck. A really, really good score, a massive score for Moycullen.
Loose hand pass out of the Moycullen defence, but there was a foul being committed. They'll get the free. There are 3 Moycullen men down. They're dropping like skittles in front of the Moycullen goal. There'll be a stoppage, and in comes Toolers, still fresh as a daisy. To go back to the goal, Eddie, is there nothing Sean Kelly can't do?
Oh, stop! Yeah, he's had what an hour he had originally, and like you said, all the energy he's expensed in the 60 minutes. But again, that main man again, ploughing down the middle, in the right place at the right time, and a cool head on his shoulders to slot away the rebound after a great save from Niall Curley. But again, an inspirational score and what looks like a match-winning score.
Well, for me, he's got man of the match all sewn up. Strokestown have a free. They want to take it quickly, but John Gilmartin doesn't want that to happen because he needs to have a word with, I think it's Niall Mulcahy. Now, did he trip the Strokestown man? Yes, he did. Black card. So this may change the dynamic of the game because Moycullen are going down to 14 men for 10 minutes, and in fact it's Owen Kelly who's heading to the sin bin. So this has the potential to change things.
Owen Kelly's a big loss, so with 5 minutes into extra time he'll probably miss another 10 minutes, so he'll miss the most of the duration of extra time. So a big loss. Owen Kelly's a big player for Moycullen, a county panellist this year with Porrick Choice, and will Strokestown take advantage?
Have Moycullen left the door open again? Big Ger Davern grabs that kick out, can't drive out with it though. He has his pocket picked by Cathal Lavin. Moycullen's turn now to put on the squeeze. They're driving Strokestown back out the field again. Ball played across by David Neary as far as Keith Murphy. Murphy back to Neary again. He's going to wind up for the score. It's dropping dangerously. Diarmuid McGann was in after it at full stretch, and credit to Andrew Power, the Moycullen goalkeeper there, who kept his eye on it all the way, and it's taken clear by Niall Mulcahy. Mulcahy pulls up with cramp, and when you see a player like him struggling, you know the going is tough. Sean Kelly chased down by 3 Strokestown men. They've turned him over, but a free goes against them. They cannot believe it. They thought they had done the hard part. Moycullen get the free. Sean Kelly has gone down with cramp. That's not a major surprise to me.
I'm not surprised. Yeah, he's covered every blade. Again, bursting out of the Moycullen defence, Sean Kelly. He's been absolutely everywhere, but a big turnover there for Moycullen too, a big play, and looks like some of the key decisions are going their way now, and the scoreboard 4 points up. You would think Moycullen will see it out from here, but still all to play for.
I wonder, could a physio get man of the match, Eddie?
Toolers is definitely in the running.
What a performance he's
putting in. He'll be nominated anyways.
He was in there again, working hard on Sean Kelly, trying to get him going for another few minutes. But how much longer can the Galway captain stay out there, I wonder? Because you can see from here now he's cramped up. He's just trying to keep moving, I think, at this stage. But has he delivered the score that will finally crack this Connacht Club semi-final open? Moycullen, the Galway champions, lead by 4. It's the biggest lead they've had by some distance in this game. We're in the 8th minute of the first period of extra time. Here's Sean Kelly again. Not quite sure if he wanted to see the ball coming his way, but he's got it regardless. Runs into the shoulder of Cathal Compton. Back as far as Cook. Cook's shot drops short. Spilled by Niall Curley. Tired bodies now and tired minds, and that was a rare mistake from Curley.
It was a rare mistake, just took his eye off it, to be fair. Tired bodies, tired minds, like you said. But again, Sean Kelly was to the fore again, making the hard yards, finding Peter Cook with the ball. Peter will be disappointed to have dropped it short from that angle, having taken on the shot, but an opportunity now for him to rectify it and put Moycullen 5 clear from the 45. So all eyes turn to Peter Cook again. I see Kieran Murphy, the Moycullen selector, just having a word with Don Kennellan. They're anticipating another change, I think. Remember, Moycullen right now operating with 14 men. Owen Kelly in the bin. This to push them 5 clear.
good strike, clean strike, just fades. He's kicking into that breeze, and it did play a part there as Peter Cook saw that shot fly wide. But you do get the sense, Eddie, one or two more scores and Moycullen have wrapped this up.
You'd expect that, Mike. Yes, Strokestown just don't have the firepower up front to potentially take back a lead of more than 3 or 4 points. So again, a point or two for Moycullen should see it out, but Strokestown still on the attack though, to be fair.
Timmy Gibbons comes flying through the bodies to try and get on the end of that. One instead by Aidan Claffey, cleared away by Owen Gallagher over to the far side of the field. Peter Cook is there, sliding in goes Keith Murphy. The studs were showing. That was Eamon DC Park on a Friday night stuff from Keith Murphy, and no major surprise to see John Gilmartin wants a word. Hopefully Peter Cook is okay as well. Look, Murphy wanted the ball, he felt it was there for the taking, but it was loose.
Yeah, it was loose. Yeah, you'd be afraid of Peter Cook's leg being planted in the ground there. It's like you said, something you'd be more renowned with a soccer pitch. Yeah, but a straight red, I think, and it was dangerous. To be fair, I think it was dangerous, and he was probably out of control when with his body. And probably the correct decision from John Gilmartin. The linesman was right in front of it, and he had a good view of it too.
Well, whatever chance Strokestown had of turning this thing around with 15 men, you'd have to imagine it has become an almost mission impossible with 14. Keith Murphy sent off on a straight red card. Ball was on the floor, he slid in, his boot was raised, and John Gilmartin felt it was a red card offence. We'll have at least 1 minute of additional time at the end of the first period of extra time. Moycullen 4 in front. Strokestown though, they will keep on going until there's no time left, until they're out of all options. We've learnt that by watching them in the Roscommon County final, and indeed in today's game in the 60 minutes of normal time. They will keep on plugging away. Ball is driven over to the far side by David Neary. This is Kieran Regan, the wing back, and that is the effort of a tired man who has nearly emptied the tank.
It looked tired, yeah, tired effort. And to be fair, Strokestown have had such a great year in Roscommon, winning the Connacht Championship. Today has been really energy sapping. They've withstood the Moycullen onslaught for the first 60, but it just looks like it's just 10 minutes too long.
Well, there goes the half-time whistle in extra time. Looks like Moycullen are going to stay out on the field. It seems that Strokestown are thinking of heading in. It will be quite a quick turnaround. Eddie, just before we take a brief break ourselves to get organised, your impressions, your reflections of what we saw there.
Yeah, again, quite tentative, but Moycullen, we said the goal was going to be the big score, regardless of who got it. Moycullen have got it, and you would think that is the match-winning score. Owen Kelly gone off with a black card. Strokestown didn't take much advantage of it, and again with Keith Murphy gone off on a red card and permanently down to 14 men, you'd think Moycullen should hold out a 4-point lead here in the second half, especially with the aid of the element, albeit the breeze has calmed a little.
Just saw Owen Kelly there, who's in the sin bin at the moment, grabbing a quick word with John Gilmartin. I think he was just wanted to check the technicalities maybe of why he got the card or when he can come back in. Strokestown have gone into the dressing room. Moycullen have decided to stay out, and the scoreboard speaks for itself, Eddie. Really, like, it's a 4-point lead for Moycullen, which at this stage with 10 minutes to go and everybody's so tired, it's a massive gap.
It's a big lead. It's given what's gone on for the last 70 or 80 minutes, it's a massive lead, and the goal was so important. If Strokestown are to come back into the game, they'll need a goal, and they'll need it early. That's the only way I can see them coming back into it. But that's not to say like that they've been very, very competitive. Look, Moycullen, Galway County champions, have won it 2 years ago, and they would have been coming here to look to win this game in full time, and full credit to Strokestown. They've brought it to extra time, and it just looks like tired bodies are out there, and you can see the signs on a lot of shots dropping short, some going wide, and it's all the signs of a tired bodies, and they're a tired squad. But to be fair, like we said, they've had a long year, won the Roscommon, and if you had said to Strokestown at the start of the year that they'd have taken home the Connacht or the Roscommon Senior Football Championship, I'm sure them and their supporters would have taken it.
Certainly when they lost those two group games, I'd say being here right now at this stage in a Connacht semi-final, it would have seemed like a pipe dream to Strokestown. Just one draw in their group to qualify for the quarter-final, and yet here they are just a few months later, and they're in with a shout. They're still in with a fighting chance of making a Connacht final. Second period of extra time is going to start very shortly. We'll take a quick break until then, with Moycullen leading here at Tuam Stadium by 1-8 to 7 points. Yes, welcome back to Tuam Stadium. That was a quicker turnaround than maybe we had imagined, Eddie, but it looks like everyone's ready to go. They're as good as they can be at this stage in terms of mind, body and spirit. I suppose the first 5 minutes, absolutely huge now for Strokestown.
It's big for Strokestown. We said if they're to get back into this game, they'll need a goal, and they'll need it quick, and the first 5 minutes is the time they'll need it.
So Moycullen will face into this second period of extra time with just 14 players. Again, Owen Kelly still in the sin bin. But can they put it to bed now? Can they put this thing away? Desi Keneally hasn't been at his brilliant best, but he's kept the scoreboard ticking at times. This man has been quite good, and that's putting it mildly. Sean Kelly really has shone like a beacon in the gloom here at Tuam Stadium. A few grey clouds now beginning to gather. I'd imagine the rain is not too far away, and I'm sure everybody here hoping that they'll be back in their cars by the time that happens. But it has certainly been value for money, this Connacht Club semi-final. We've been playing now for almost an hour and a half, and it's advantage Moycullen. This is Peter Cook. He's got on a lot of balls since he came in during the second half of normal time. Gives it back as far as Tom Clark and now Conor Corcoran. They've won 2 of the last 3 Galway County titles, Moycullen. They have been around the block, but they're hoping to head for uncharted territory in a fortnight's time. Well, they'll meet Turlestran of Sligo, the 7 in a row Sligo County champions. Sean Kelly again breaks the line, again wins a free, and I can see 1 or 2 Strokestown heads starting to drop, Eddie.
You can see that, yes, and a good opportunity here for Moycullen into a breeze. Probably, I expect, maybe, I'm not sure if it's Peter Cook or probably Peter Cook, yeah, is going to take it. But again, Sean Kelly breaking the line, and a good chance for Moycullen to extend their lead out to 5.
Well, Peter Cook is going to leave this on the floor. That breeze behind him has picked up a little. Now it is blowing across the field, blowing into that corner, the right corner in front of him. So he's going to have to figure this out in terms of his angles and where he needs to aim for. There's a shower of rain now after breaking as well. That won't help. Cook kicks it high, straight, through and away to the right. Just didn't come in enough for him.
Just didn't come in, and it's a difficult conditions to kick from the deck, and Peter has found it difficult to find the range, but again it's slippy, greasy, and the rain now is starting to come down, coupled with a stiff breeze, so it is the elements are quite difficult to kick into.
Moycullen are sending men back into defence at a rate of knots to try and clog things up. Strokestown still with an extra man, remember, haven't been able to make it count. They haven't scored in extra time, the Roscommon champions. We've now played 14, nearly 15 minutes in total. No score. Sean Mullooly, can he change that statistic? Drives up from defence. He looks tired, but then again, so does everybody else out there. David Neary drills it in. Just slipped through the fingers of Cathal Compton. He'd moved into full forward, and if that ball stuck, well, who knows? But it didn't, and away go Moycullen. This is Cian Dean, the pocket rocket of a corner back. Foul as he tried to come out with the ball. He'll get a free. Good play by Cian Dean. Well, anything he's done it well.
He's been very effective, to be fair. He came in, didn't start last week against Westport, but came in and it was very, very good, to be fair, having lost David Wynne, who's an influential member of the Moycullen side.
So Cian Dean just needs some running repairs as Moycullen break down at the far end of the field. That shower of rain, unfortunately for us, is starting to blow into the stand here as Sean Kelly comes through looking for his brother Paul, beaten to the punch by Timmy Gibbons, and away goes the flying corner back to Colm Neary. Neary looks like he's only played 5 minutes of a match, not to mind an hour and a half. He's just been fouled. Now, he wanted the advantage to be played. He wanted to keep going there. That's why he was unhappy. But Colm Neary came onto that ball, Eddie, like a man who's just stepped off the subs bench, and he's played 90 minutes.
He did, just shown such great energy, tenacity, and credit to Colm Neary and the Strokestown guys. Like, they do look fit, they look agile, and after 80 minutes of football to still be going and still putting on that display is a credit to them.
That was a terrific block by Tom Clark. He's cramped up after blocking down that shot from Sean Mullooly. That's James O'Toole's signal to head into the pitch again. Well, you hear it said after big championship matches, the teams gave everything, that they emptied the tank, that they went to the well as often as was humanly possible. Well, Moycullen and Strokestown have embodied that in this semi-final. It has been an energy-sapping, absolutely marathon semi-final match as Shane McGinley knocks this in around the house. Cathal Compton is now stationed in at full forward as they try to go long and pick him out, but Moycullen alive to it, and it's that man Tom Clark again who helps to get the ball clear with help from Niall Mulcahy and now Cian Dean. Moycullen will be getting ready any moment now to bring Owen Kelly back into the match, by the way, and they'll be fully restored to their full complement again as Owen Gallagher comes flying down the field. Michael O'Reilly is going even quicker ahead of him. The pass hits the floor, skids away from O'Reilly. He does well to keep it in, but he's touched it on the floor. Free out as Moycullen make a change. They're bringing in number 11 Conor Bohan, and they're taking out number 2 Cian Dean, who's picked up a knock. But not a bad sub to have to bring in.
Great sub to bring in. It was pivotal to Moycullen when they won the county title a few years ago, and lots of years of experience on his clock. But well done to Cian Dean. He's given a really good 80 minutes to his club today. 4 minutes to go. 4 minutes of normal time between Moycullen and a place in the Connacht final. 4 minutes for Strokestown to maybe, just maybe, come back from the brink and leave us with a penalty shootout. Well, the World Cup is starting today, Eddie, so might be nice to have a penalty shootout. Yeah, 4 o'clock now, won't feel it, but if there is going to be one, Strokestown will need a goal before it. A few minutes to play, but again, still in it, but they'll need a goal.
I'm fairly certain that whatever Qatar and Ecuador serve up later on this evening in that opening game of the World Cup, it won't bear any resemblance to what we've seen in Tuam Stadium, that's for sure. Kieran Regan shoots, drops it dangerously. Cathal Compton is after it, but the umpire was on the scene and flags it as a wide ball. Well, Strokestown have resorted to the direct approach in the last few minutes It's fairly straightforward, it's fairly basic, but at this stage of the day, they don't have a whole pile of options, as in comes number 20, Mikey Kavanagh, who came on during normal time, was taken back out again. He's on now for Kieran Regan, who simply has got nothing left to give. What a display the wing back has put in. He's out on his feet, Eddie.
Yeah, no, he has, and again, like most of the Strokestown players, they've literally left everything on the pitch, and the same can be said for Moycullen, and it's credit to both sets of teams. They've given literally everything for their both clubs.
8 minutes into the second period of extra time. Sean Kelly comes onto this ball, plays the perfect pass to Bohan. They're hunting a goal to finish it. It's flicked in. Ger Davern gets the final touch to apply the gloss and to send Moycullen into their very first Connacht club final. Well, Strokestown's hearts are broken. They were 4 points down and chasing. They left themselves open at the back. It was a flying counter-attack from Moycullen. Sean Kelly had a major part to play, but Ger Davern will claim the goal.
Yeah, great goal, Ger Davern, and he's been really, really instrumental, to be fair. For a young guy, he's been really, really effective. But what a great build-up to the goal. Moycullen renowned for their basketball prowess, but real quick, slick hands. And I think it was, I'm not sure who laid it on, was it Michael Riley or who it was, but a really good goal, and game over now here in Tuam.
Well, as Eddie said, they love their basketball in Moycullen, and that was the quintessential fast break. Huge reception for Owen Gallagher as he makes his way off the field. Absolutely outstanding, Eddie, wasn't he, from start to finish?
Outstanding. When Moycullen weren't going well, Owen Gallagher was going well. 3 massive points from play in the first half when they really, really needed them. And what a servant he's been to Moycullen since joining the club a number of years ago. 2 county titles and man of the match in this year's county final, and a really, really good display for him today.
Looks like Don Kennellan wants to get one of the great Moycullen stalwarts out onto the field for the last couple of minutes here. Mark Lydon is getting ready to make his introduction, and I see the number 3 being put on the board. They're taking out Sean Kelly. I think Sean Kelly will have to be wrapped in cotton wool for the next couple of weeks, Eddie, and maybe into a cryotherapy bath as well.
He will, Mike. I'm interested to see the ovation that Sean Kelly gets, because it'll be one of the louder ones that we've heard here in Tuam.
Well, we're about to hear it now. Mark Lydon is in. Sean Kelly will make his way to the sideline as quickly as he can, but I think people will have to be patient. You can see he's not moving freely, and that's putting it mildly. Gets a great reception.
And so well deserved. What a player, what he brings to both his club, to his county, and got the all-important goal today and done all the ugly things well, and really well-deserved standing ovation from in fairness, Moycullen supporters, but also from some of the Strokestown ones too.
Well, he is some man for one man. We'll have 2 minutes of additional time. Don Kennellan now looks like he hasn't a care in the world, the Moycullen manager. Those goals in extra time from Sean Kelly and Ger Davern have meant he and his backroom team can just settle a little. They can start very shortly turning their attention to the prospect of taking on Strokestown in the Connacht final, as I see a rainbow appearing over Tuam Stadium over on the far side. Moycullen will be hoping the Shane McGettigan Cup will be waiting for them at the end of their journey in a couple of weeks' time. But Strokestown will have big designs, of course, on provincial honours as well. So experienced, so battle hardened. It is certainly one to look forward to, as Mark Lydon gives it to Owen Kelly, back on the field again. I'm sure raring to go after the 10 minutes in the sin bin. Here he is looking to get his name on the score sheet. Knifes through. It's O'Reilly. It's Fionn McDonough. It's a flying save from Niall Curley. Well, that looked destined for the top corner, but the Strokestown goalkeeper has just pulled off a spectacular save.
Yeah, if you're looking for some moments of the game, that would certainly be included. Outstanding save at full stretch. was Niall Curley and wrapped his hand around it and around the post 45 for Moycullen. But well done to Niall Curley again, while the game may be over, still going right to the bitter end.
Just thought for a second that it was going to bobble in at the butt of the post there. It would have been cruel luck on Curley, who also made a brilliant save to deny Sean Kelly's initial shot before he buried the rebound. So the Strokestown goalkeeper, well, he couldn't have done any more, as Peter Cook's 45 comes back off the post. It's pulled on first time by Conor Bohan and it flies wide. Well, there goes the full-time whistle. This marathon match has finally come to an end, and Moycullen are into their very first AIB Connacht Senior Club Football Final. They have beaten Strokestown of Roscommon by 2-8 to 7 points after extra time here at Tuam Stadium. And Eddie Hoare, this is a game that is going to take quite the while to pull apart and dissect. So many turning points, so many twists and turns, but on the balance of play, did the best team win?
I think on the balance of play, Moycullen, to be fair, were the best team. Their execution they'll be disappointed with. I think they had up on 12, nearly 13 wide, so if they had gone over and had been scored, it could have been a very different scoreline. It probably would have been finished in full time, but notwithstanding that, really entertaining game. Despite the low scoring, it was very, very entertaining, and Strokestown will have taken so much from this year, having won their first county title in 30 years, and Moycullen on the other hand won their first title ever in 2 years and hadn't the opportunity to represent Galway in Connacht, so probably got that monkey off their back in terms of that big celebration after such a dearth of a period of not winning, and they were ready for this Connacht Championship and signs on. They've gone on, beaten Westport. They've beaten Westport, and again they've beaten Strokestown. So full value for the win in my eyes here with Moycullen, but notwithstanding that, Strokestown really, really competitive right throughout.
Eddie, I'll ask you for your selection for man of the match in a moment, but just maybe looking ahead to that final in a couple of weeks' time, from a Moycullen perspective, what do you learn about yourself on a day like today, or how will this stand to them now when they take on Strokestown?
Yeah, Moycullen will have learned quite a bit. They have a lot of depth in their squad. David Wynne was a big loss here today, but Cian Dean came in and he was excellent, to be fair. They'll have learned that, look, winter football is not always pretty. Last weekend they got it a lot easier against maybe Westport. Today is a good lesson for Moycullen that it won't be easy, it's not pretty, and Strokestown are a well seasoned outfit, won Sligo titles year after year, and they'll be ready in 2 weeks' time, so it's not going to be easy. They're going to be well drilled, and Moycullen will have to bring their A game to bring home the McGettigan Cup.
Just before we wrap up, the crowd are trying to make their way out here in Tuam Stadium. Your selection for man of the match, before you tell us who the man of the match is, maybe who's on the short list from both a Strokestown and a Moycullen perspective?
Yeah, from Strokestown's perspective, Niall Curley again, really, really good in goal, made some very good saves, very effective with his kickouts. Timmy Gibbons done a really good job at marshalling at Desi Keneally inside. At the middle, Cathal Compton, what an outstanding score, inspirational score that he got at the end. And up front, Shane McGinley and Jim McGann, excellent for Strokestown. On the Moycullen side, Cian Dean was excellent. Niall Mulcahy, really effective. Aidan Claffey, really good throughout. Others who stood up, Tom Clark, really good. Paul Kelly, very good throughout. But for me, the man of the match has to be Sean Kelly, the Galway captain. When Moycullen needed a goal, he stood up, but not just the goal. He turned over hard ball, he tackled, he harassed, he covered every blade of grass in Tuam Stadium today. He was absolutely outstanding. Others that probably in contention, second in line, was Owen Gallagher. He was outstanding for Moycullen. Owen Gallagher, 3 big points from play, but Sean Kelly, if I was to pick, is the standout player for me and deserved man of the match.
So Sean Kelly, the Moycullen number 3, the Galway captain, is Eddie Hoare's selection for man of the match from this Connacht football semi-final. Just to recap then, it finished here after an enthralling afternoon's football at Tuam Stadium in a victory for Moycullen. They've beaten Strokestown by 2-8 to 7 points, and in 2 weeks' time they will meet Strokestown of Sligo in the AIB Connacht Senior Club Football Final. My thanks to Eddie Hoare for his company and analysis all afternoon. Hope you enjoyed the game and the coverage as much as we did, and we'll be back to do it all again very soon here on Connacht GATV. Until then, take care.